What's up, guys? In today's Outlier video, we're going to be looking at pitcher out props. And what we're going to do here is click the props tab at the bottom as always, and then scroll from the top over to outs. And over here, once again, I like to look at last 10 and 2023, but specifically for pitcher outs, I do look at last 10 first and then 2023. So what I like to see from 2023 was actually Darvish, because it gave me a look at his 2022, and I do remember taking his over 17.5 outs basically every game that it was at that line in 2022, because if we take a look, we'll show his line in 2022, he hit this so consistently, and he averaged about 98.7 pitches per game last year. This year has dropped down by about 5 pitches per game, but he should still be hitting this pretty consistently. If we're looking at last year, however, he has dipped down a bit. ERA is a little higher, WHIP is a bit higher, but it did pique my interest, so I did a little bit of diving into this prop, and I'll show you guys the different kinds of stats and advanced stats I like to look at to see if this is a good over to take for today. So when we select this prop, the first thing I saw was the last 5. He's covered in 4 of his last 5 games, and in his last 10, he's covered in 6 of his last 10. But more specifically, he's covered this line in 5 of his last 6. So he's been more consistent the last little stretch, which has been almost a month, from 07-14 up until August 9th. So he's been pretty consistent as of recently. And the next thing we're going to want to do is take a look at his pitches thrown once again, 93.1, which is a pretty good number. Lots of these games, he's been in that mid-90s to hundreds range, which is nice to see. The couple of games that brought his average from 93 to 93, brought it down a bit, is the 82 pitch game versus the Dodgers and the 85 pitch game versus the Pirates. But other than that, all these games are high pitch games. And what I did from here is looked at Baltimore Orioles stats. On the season, they're batting .249 versus righties, but in the last 30 days, that has dipped down to .232, and that is 24th in the league. So they're on one of the lower ends of batting average. Then on-base percentage has dropped down as well. They're only .292 on-base percentage the last 30 days versus righties, and that is 28th in the league. So they have the third lowest on-base percentage versus right-handed pitchers the last 30 days. OPS has dropped a lot as well, 28th in OPS the last 30. Batting average of balls in play has dropped a little bit too. And the most important one, WRC+. You guys have seen me talk about this prop in recent videos. That has dropped down. The league average is 100, and they have dropped way below that league average, sitting at 82.9 the last 30 days versus right-handed pitchers. So a lot of this is pointing towards Darvish being able to have a better game due to the last 30-day stats of the Orioles versus righties. But we're now going to look at the matchup, which is on the top right here. So once again, Darvish ERA 4.19, WHIP 1.25. Decent, mid-tier for sure. Nothing extraordinary, but he's definitely not the worst pitcher at all by any means. We take a look at the Orioles batting averages and different numbers versus right-handed pitchers. We'll see over here. They haven't come out with the exact lineup yet. It is still early. It's the morning right now. So if you guys check this out on your own 2 hours before game time, this will automatically update to the 9 players that are going to be in the lineup. And you could see their exact averages versus righties. And then Darvish hasn't really faced many players in this lineup, only 3 batters, and he's been performing very well versus Frazier and O'Hearn, who are usually in the lineup. And then McCann, he's allowed 2 hits against him, or 3 hits, 2 hits. But yeah, we could look more before game time to see these exact lineups. If you see that maybe O'Hearn and Frazier in the lineup, that's a bit of a good sign. Darvish has had his number on them. And injuries, nothing major. We could always check out the injuries. For Orioles, Padres injuries doesn't matter as long as Darvish is in the lineup, which he is. And yeah, that's what I like to look at. If you scroll down here, we could get into more specifics as well. We could look at the kind of pitches that Darvish throws, and you see his pitch arsenal is huge. He loves to throw a little bit of everything, but that slider is the number 1 pitch he likes to throw. So if we take a look versus a slider, we can see that the WOBA of all these batters is usually lower versus a slider on average. And then the second one is going to be the sinker. These guys bat very well versus a sinker compared to other pitches. Then the fastball, you could go through all of them, but honestly, Darvish's pitch arsenal is very diverse. Other than the slider, which he throws more than 1/3 of the time, which Orioles don't really bat too well against the slider. Everything else is basically the same odds of him throwing. And you could also take a look at individual heat maps when the lineups are out. I would recommend this. Take a look at who is in the lineup and then select them. You'll see Darvish is a right-handed pitcher. Chessman's a left-handed batter. We'll click left-handed batter here, right-handed pitcher here. And you can check the heat maps. If you want to take an individual hit prop as well, you could do that by looking at the heat map. And yeah, last thing you could do is also check his stats at home or on the road. He's at home today, so we can select home, apply, and we'll see that in the last 10, he's covered this line in 6 of his last 10 at home. So do what you want with this information. I would recommend checking what the exact lineup is 2 hours or 1 hour before game time and then making a decision off that. But Orioles have not been performing too well versus righties the last month, and Darvish, he does have that pitch count, which will allow him to get to 18 outs more times than not versus sub or mid-tier teams. And yeah, that's what I think is a good play for this pitcher out prop. We'll take a look over here. Best odds are going to be -155 on Caesars. We'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also download Outlier to get your 7-day free trial and go through all the other pitcher out props that they have today. I'll see you guys.